Dave from New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, John Trump.
And I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
Hey, Darren.
Hey! Oh, Jesus Christ. That pregnant pause, I was like, did we lose connection? What's happening here?
No, it's just it always feels so artificial, that thing, like right after we start, like one of us has to say like to the other one, hey, how are you doing? And it just never feels organic to me,
I think we're starting to see how, like, morning zoo DJs feel like, where they have to pump up the fake enthusiasm.
I hate false energy. I hate that. Hey everybody, how you doing? And like, okay, it's fine because now we're just talking, but that organic way into it, I never like.
Yeah, it's and listeners, as you know, we try to keep it like as real as possible on this podcast. We keep it 100% real. Mm-hmm. So like sometimes we'll be really excited to talk to each other. Other times we'll be like, hey man, what's going on?
Yeah. Well, and it's and I get weirdly self-conscious about it.
Oh, that too?
Yeah, that too. No, I mean, somebody goes like, hey, how are you doing? And lately I'm just like, well, that's a 10-minute conversation.
Not so good, pal. Not so good.
Yeah, it's like that Mad Men meme, how are you doing? Not great, Bob. So, but I mean, all things considered, it wasn't a bad week for me.
There you go.
We got together. We saw each other IRL, in real life, as the kids say.
We saw each other at the Non-Productive comedy show. Happens first Thursday of every month at Just Jake's in Montclair, New Jersey.
Yes, and you were co-hosting this one with our friend Evan Morgenstern, who's been on the podcast. Not been on the podcast with me. So I was saying to Evan, we should have you on sometime when I'm here. So...
Yeah, we had him. If you remember the Dragnet episode, he was on.
Yes,
he was on then, and we'll have him back on. It's as soon as we figure out like a movie he'd like to talk about or something like that, and we'll happy to have him back on it. Yeah, it's good to talk to him again and host a show with him again, because we used to host a show in Brooklyn back in the day. So it's just like it's like old times. It was like Simon and Garfunkel reuniting.
Yes. I heard your wife introduce Evan to someone as like one of Darren's comedy partners, and I felt a little twinge of jealousy. I was like, oh, one of. Oh, okay.
Right. Hey man, we're not monogamous here, brother. You know what it was?
Okay. We have an open comedy relationship, apparently. Yeah. I'm just your comedy side piece.
We're free to see other comedy partners whenever we want, man. I thought we agreed to this, man.
No, not. It wasn't one of those out loud verbal agreements. I think it was just an unspoken thing.
Yeah, don't try to tie me down, baby.
Okay, all right.
I'm a Rolling Stone.
Yeah, but you guys did a nice job hosting the show. I enjoyed seeing the show. We saw our friend Tommy Ray there as well, who's also been on the podcast. And
the Running Scared episode. Check it out, guys.
Running Scared episode. That was like back in August, I think. It's episode 205.
And I also got to see for the first time SNL Network alum TJ Randolph, who like I know. Yeah. He's somebody I had never met in real life, but I had seen him. We both know John Schneider, who runs the SNL Network, who's been on this podcast. He was on. John Schneider was most recently on when we did the Kids in the Hall biography pick.
Yes,
back in the day, and so TJ Randolph is also. He's been on the SNL Network numerous times. I think he was actually on the most recent episode where they did a hot takes episode about this Keke Palmer episode we're about to talk about. And like,
okay,
it's weird. Like SNL Network, they do this thing where, like, I think they stay up till like 1 a.m. and then they record an episode at 1 a.m. about the episode they just saw.
Yeah. They start like streaming it at like 1:10 in the morning, and I'm just like,
I
not do that. I do not have the energy to do that. Not that I'm not never up at 1 in the morning, but if I am, I don't want to talk to anybody.
Wow. Wow, John, you're a real social butterfly there, it seems like.
Well, look, okay. I I I was like social 3 times this week. For an introvert like me, that is a lot, man. Wednesday, I like co-hosted trivia over in Morristown. Thursday, I went to the non-productive comedy show, and then Friday night, I was out with our buddy John Minus, who was on our episode about the Suicide Squad, and he was celebrating his birthday, so we went out on Friday night. So yeah, I've got to hibernate for a while.
Okay, got it.
You know, the introvert energy. You know, we need recovery time built in.
Yeah, like that took a lot out of you. I totally
It took a
understand that.
lot out of me. I am not built for 3 nights of socializing in a row.
I got to see people for 3 how many days in a row? 3?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Oh.
It's a lot. And
Oh.
then I mean, after we went out to dinner, we had a very nice dinner with a bunch of John's friends. Evan Morgenstern was out there again, and then we go out to this bar over in Montclair, New Jersey, which is it's kind of a hip and happening place, I suppose.
It's definitely on the
Yeah,
rise. Definitely on the
it's on the rise, getting a little gentrified, getting a little,
Mhm.
so that's a little concerning. But
Luxury or condos as far as the eye can see.
yes, and right, we went to the bar, and then there were a lot of how should I say this? Lot of people of a certain age, because the Rick Springfield concert had gotten out at the Wellmont Theater nearby.
Ooh. They,
So
they know the party. Did you see?
so then John Minus says to me, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to be your wingman. I'm going to hook you up." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, please don't. I don't need that."
Did you see Jesse's girl there? Huh?
We did not. We were kind of driving ourselves nuts, like trying to recall uh, Rick Springfield songs besides Jesse's Girl.
Oh,
I
did
remember
you?
he had a song called "They Call Me Bruce" that was just about how people would mistake him for Bruce Springsteen.
Oh yeah, I could see that. There was that whole thing in like in the '80s where it was like kind of blue collar rockers that were all kind of emulating Bruce in a way, like Brian
Mhm.
Adams. I mean,
But Rick
John
Springfield wasn't that. He was like a pop music guy.
was he? Oh yeah, I guess.
No,
But there
I've
was
never thought of like Rick Springfield as a blue collar hero, dude.
yeah, but like John Cougar Mellencamp had that same type of vibe.
Oh
I,
yeah, no, he's in that same vein, but Rick Springfield isn't.
hmm. I'm
It's just
starting
they have similar names, is all.
I'm starting to realize I don't know much about Rick Springfield.
I don't think anyone does.
I
I don't know. Are there hardcore Rick Springfield fans? I don't know.
I gotta I gotta assume there is like those Rick Springfield, Greg Kinn band
Yeah.
followers like
I mean, I guess his fans are like women who had a crush on him back in the day, like if he jump started their puberty or something.
oh they found their womanhood to Don't Talk to Strangers or something like that.
Well, I mean, yeah, he was a teen idol dude. Anyway,
Okay.
so yeah, so we were like, oh well, do we? We're talking to people. We'll ask if they went to the concert, and the people we talked to, they did not go to the concert.
Oh, okay.
So, and then we were all just like, "What do you remember about Rick Springfield?" And the answer was not a lot.
Got it. All right. So
So
to
we
score
kind of bonded over us not knowing much about Rick Springfield. I don't know. It was an awkward conversation.
okay. So to
It
score
wasn't
what,
it
bro?
wasn't awkward from John's eyes, but it was from mine.
Okay. All right, so to get later what, bro? You score? Get the digits, bro?
You've heard the story up until this point. Do you think I got laid?
No. I was trying to be
Do you think something happened?
I don't know, I'm being optimistic. I don't know what the fuck. You gotta manifest this shit. I don't know.
Uh, Yeah, no. This was we just had a nice conversation with some strangers, and then they politely excused themselves, and then yeah, people went home.
But Rick Springfield always said, "Don't talk to strangers." Huh?
Okay, you just Googled the lyrics of his songs.
I did, yes.
Yeah,
Affair of the heart. I've done everything for you. Love
I know that.
somebody.
I know. I've done everything. Yeah. Okay. I remember
Love
that.
somebody.
Okay, I remember that.
Love is all right tonight. Celebrate.
No idea.
Speak to the sky.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I've never heard of any of these other songs. Like, but I
I
don't know.
remember "Love Somebody." You
I don't.
better love somebody.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah, that's him. That's him.
Oh,
I
okay.
did not remember that song until you mentioned the name of it, but yeah.
Okay. I do know more than one Rick Springfield song. Hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
look at me
I can't
learning.
recall them off the top of my head, but like if you prompt me a little bit, I sort of know them. So,
Okay.
yay.
All right. We did it. We got there.
Yay. So Saturday Night Live, they've announced some new hosts for the rest of December.
Oh, right. This is an SNL podcast, not a Rick
Yeah.
Springfield fandom podcast.
No.
Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, they dropped the SNL dropped some news on us and told us who's going to be hosting the final two shows of 2022. And
Yes.
boy, oh boy, we're getting some heavy hitters for the
Hmm.
closing out the year. December 10th, Steve Martin and Martin Short with Brandy
Yes.
Carlisle. Oh boy.
Yes. And Brandy Carlisle, from what I say, she was the musical guest when Jason Sudeikis hosted last, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
And
And I think I remember liking her.
yeah, no, she rocked it. Like she was one of those people not too many folks were familiar with, at least from what I know. And
Hmm.
but she came on and she really impressed me. I remember that. Like I remember her
Yeah.
really like giving it her all and being like, "Wow, this girl's this woman's a powerhouse. She can really kicks
Yeah,
ass."
I just have a vague feeling of positive associations with her name. So,
Yeah, she's a
I have
very
not gone back and looked at what she did musically. I have not gone back and listened to what we said about her when we did the Jason Sudeikis episode. Am I
right.
going to do that? Probably not. No.
Yeah, but like no, she was very good. She came through and rocked it. And
Hmm.
the Sudeikis episode was one of the better episodes of that season for sure.
Yeah, I remember liking that episode. I
And
mean, they did that Mr. Wizard parody, which I always like.
the Parent Teacher Association, the PTA meeting,
Yeah, yeah.
it had a lot of good stuff in it. And
Oh yeah, the thing where he and Ego where they were kind of vibing with each other. Yeah,
yeah,
that was good.
they were
That was
basically
good.
cucking Kyle,
Hmm.
as one is wont to do.
Sure.
And yeah, this episode seems to be. I mean, this is one of the episodes when it was announced who was hosting. Pretty much everybody online was like, "Hell yeah, this is." I mean, Steve Martin. This will be his 16th time hosting, so
Wow.
he'll be like one show away from basically the record of which is now held by
I think the odds are pretty good of Steve Martin overtaking Alec Baldwin at this point, um,
yeah,
for reasons entirely unrelated to Saturday Night Live. I mean,
yeah. And Martin
because
Short is
Alec Baldwin, he's got other things going on.
he does who boy
Um,
whoa Nelly.
and always fun to see Martin Short pop up again. I mean, and those two together, they obviously just they have such fun together and they enjoy each other so much. And it's two-thirds of the Three Amigos, and it's the good ones. So,
Yeah, this is Martin Short's fourth time hosting.
mhm,
Including the time where the Three Amigos did host, like Steve Martin and Chevy hosted back in '86. So
yeah, that's
and
cool.
yeah, no, I think there was like another time where Martin Short hosted with somebody else. Actually, no, he hosted two other times, so this will be his fourth.
Okay,
Um,
and of course, he was a cast member for a year back in the 1980s.
Absolutely. So yeah, people are really looking forward to this episode, as am I. I mean, the two of them
Mhm.
have great chemistry. They're no stranger to SNL, so I think they're going to
Yeah,
fit into this. They're basically at this point they're seasoned vets. They're
I mean, yeah, you don't have to worry about either of these guys getting up to speed on how the show works. They know how the show works. They know what to do. They know how the machine operates. They've got characters they can revisit. You just know you're in good hands when
Yeah.
these two are hosting. So
Yeah.
it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to next week's show.
Yeah. Expectations high for this one. I think this is going to
Mm-hmm.
be a big one. And
Yeah, and then after that, for December 17th, we have host Austin Butler and the Yeah Yeah Yeahs.
right. Austin Butler, for those that don't know, he's kind of come into prominence, portraying Elvis in the Elvis biopic that Baz Luhrmann put out earlier this year, and
Elvis Presley,
Elvis,
not
Elvis
Elvis
Presley.
Costello, the
Yes,
less cool Elvis.
the that other Elvis, the dude, the hip thrusting, pelvis shaking Elvis.
Yeah, yeah, the
Uh,
guy who's been covered in literally a million other biopics.
yeah, he. But people are like, you know what? I don't think people know the whole story about
Yeah,
Elvis just yet. Like, no, we
we
kind
need
of.
we need to Baz Luhrmann up this bitch. Uh,
We need to learn in this bitch.
I watched the trailer of that Elvis movie and I was just like, no, I don't want to see this. I don't.
Yeah, I think he's one of these artists that we've heard of, that we know of, and of course, like we've kind of heard the story time and time again.
Yeah,
So it's like, are you going to tell us anything new that we haven't heard? Like, yeah, he came in, he kind of changed the way rock and roll is done, just by gyrating his hip and being sexual and kind of,
right.
taking black people's music and just kind of,
Mm.
making it more palatable for white
And he
audiences.
was exploited by Colonel Tom Parker, and he had drug problems in his later years, and blah 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 blah. Blah. Yeah,
Yeah,
we got it.
I know. It is weird how we've seen all these Elvis biopics, but there's like so many artists we haven't seen biopics from. Like, we still haven't gotten a Bob Marley biopic, although I've heard they're working on it.
Mhm.
Marvin Gaye never got a biopic yet. It's
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wasn't it? There was like a Jimi Hendrix biopic, but I think they didn't have the rights to use his music.
There,
And it's like, what's the point
yeah,
if you can't play Purple Haze? What? Anyway,
yeah. No, I created this new song, Violet Fog. It's
yeah.
great.
Well, hey, it's like the John Belushi biopic Wired. They didn't have the rights to use any of his characters from SNL, so they did like Samurai Umpire, and it was like sort of like what you might see on SNL, and he's singing songs as the Blues Brothers that the Blues Brothers never did. It's just
Yeah,
like what?
I'm a
Why?
I'm a soul fellow. It's like, why? Don't. What's the point?
Yeah, what's the point?
But yeah,
Okay, so it's Austin Butler, this fellow that I didn't recognize his name until you were like, "Oh, he's the guy from the Elvis movie," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I
yeah,
sort of know who that is. He was getting a lot of good buzz for playing Elvis Presley. So
yeah, and like, there's, I think there's also already like Oscar buzz, and I think the Golden Globe nominations are going to be out around the time he hosts, so maybe they're
oh, okay.
hoping
So
he
he's
gets.
probably an expected Golden Globe nominee. Okay, I get it. I was like,
Yeah,
okay, so what project is he promoting? It's probably the Golden Globe. So he's
yeah,
he's
Golden.
still in a way promoting Elvis.
Yeah, and he's also, like, I know his next big thing is he's going to be in the sequel to Dune, the next Denis Villeneuve
Okay,
Dune. So he's got that coming up. So he's sort of a, up and coming,
he's on the
pretty.
rise.
Yeah, he's on the rise, pretty actor. Kind of like the same way they had Anya Taylor-Joy host, because she was on the rise, and Timothy
Right.
Chalamet host the Christmas show
Yeah.
because he was on the rise. So it's kind of in that vein.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, either way, I'm looking forward to seeing what he's gonna do. And yeah, yeah, yeah. I've actually been a fan of this band for a while, so I'm actually looking forward to see them perform too. They have a new album that just came out about like a month or so ago. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This will be the second time they performed since 2009. They were on when Zac Efron hosted.
Whoa, there's a little time capsule for you.
Yup.
When Zac Efron was the it boy, he was the Austin Butler of his day.
It really was.
Yeah, I'm aware of the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, but again, if you put a gun to my head and ask me to name one of their songs, I don't think I'd be able to. And also, that seems like a really violent way to ask me to name one of their songs.
Yeah, we don't have
Don't do
to.
that.
Yeah, we don't
Don't
have to.
just politely ask.
Yeah, we don't have to like
Don't put a
deer
gun
hunter
to my
this.
temple.
Yeah, we don't have to like deer hunter this. We can just
Yeah,
ask nicely.
that's not conducive to me remembering stuff.
Okay, but yeah,
That's
like,
just going to add to the stress of the situation.
yeah.
I think I like their song "Jesse's Girl." Yeah, and "Love Somebody." Yeah, that's a good
The-
song.
yeah, I mean, well, no, I mean, the Yeah Yeah Yeahs had that big hit, the song "Maps." You know, they don't love you like I love you. That was like their big kind of mainstream hit, and they were a pretty big deal back in the early aughts, back when like New York was kind of going through this garage rock,
Yeah,
alt art rock renaissance, like when
and
the
I'm sure if you played some of their songs, I would recognize them because I was still vaguely paying attention to current pop music at that point. So
yeah, like they were making it big, like when the Strokes were coming out of New York, and LCD Sound
mhm.
System, TV on the
Love the Strokes. Yep.
radio, Block Party, like they were big around that time. And but yeah, I was a huge fan of theirs. I really liked uh their breakout album, Fever to Tell. So I'm really looking forward to seeing them perform.
All right. Okay. So
Okay.
those are our thoughts on the upcoming house.
Those are our thoughts. So now let's give our thoughts on last night's episode. Kiki Palmer
Last
and
night's.
SZA.
Yes. Yes. So this is season 48, episode 7 from December 3rd, 2022. We start out with a cold open. What was this cold open called? I didn't put that down in my notes.
It's cold open, I believe Herschel Walker, something or other.
Just okay, shit.
Oh, I got it.
I mean,
Herschel Walker cold open.
creative. Okay.
Yeah, you know.
um, okay, so Herschel Walker cold open. This had James Nelson Johnson as Mitch McConnell, Mikey as Senator John Corwin, and Cecily as Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee. And they talked to Keenan, who's playing Herschel Walker, who's in the runoff election in Georgia right now, and just kind of asking if he has any more bad things in his past that are going to come out over the next week.
Yeah, because basically at this point, the GOP is in a bit of a pickle. The red wave didn't come like they hoped, so
Right.
basically they're putting all their eggs in the Herschel Walker basket,
Right.
which is a pretty terrible basket.
Pretty terrible basket. He is several eggs short of a full basket. I don't think that's a phrase, but it's a decent metaphor for because the guy's he
He's
ain't right in the head.
Yeah,
He's got the Dane Bramage.
yeah, it's pretty obvious he should be nowhere near like a seat in the Senate or any other type of office, but
No,
like
and I can't even laugh at the guy much because it's just he's so not all there. Um, yeah. So I had trouble with this. It's one they can't really write anything as insane as what this man actually says.
yeah, like I think at one point they were talking about the runoff, and Herschel, Keenan playing Herschel says, "Oh, that's great because my ex-wife says all I do is run off," and
Yeah.
that I could kind of see Herschel Walker saying something like that.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the thing is they were all just sort of kind of vague jokes, but it's almost impossible to satirize this because the reality is so insane. I mean, he gave a speech where he talked about how he'd rather be a werewolf than a vampire.
Yeah,
And
it's
I mean,
exasperated side. That's all this.
I am nearly speechless at this. I mean, I liked at one point he says, "Oh, you can just toss a blanket over me and I'll fall asleep like a parakeet." I thought that was cute, and it's a funny visual to toss a blanket on top of Keenan, and then they act like he's not there. And then it ends with Mitch McConnell just kind of putting him in a vault so that he doesn't say anything heinous before the runoff election on Tuesday.
Yeah, and yeah. I mean, I thought this was okay. I mean, I'm glad they kept this one short, but it
Yeah,
wasn't
I
anything.
thought as a cold open it was pretty weak. I mean,
Yeah,
I just don't think they had anything interesting or insightful to say, and for me personally, I mean, just looking at Herschel Walker, I'm just like, yeah,
like
the
is
man should just not be campaigning.
Yeah, it's like
I
this is
can't believe that anybody put him up for public office, and
yeah.
he's just so not all there. The man needs help, you know?
Yeah, like, I mean, I think that might be it. Like, I think it was kinda hard to enjoy this sketch just because the reality is so much more sad and
So much more sad, so much more absurd, so much everything. Yeah, I just I couldn't find it in me to laugh. I mean, even something like with Trump, I can laugh a little more because he's more mostly just stupid and oblivious.
right.
Um, with Herschel Walker, it's like, no, there is something wrong with this guy. It's like, the CTE's been tackled too many times, whatever. But
Yeah, but, like, I know the GOP is like, "Oh, no, he's fine." They're basically it's like, Weekend at Bernie's where they're propping up this person who's clearly not in the right, but they're, like, assuring us he's alive and he can do the job.
yeah, he is a Weekend at Bernie's candidate. Yeah,
Yes.
and it's just depressing and worrisome that they will nominate any old insane person if they just think that they're easily manipulated and he can vote the way they want or something. I guess that's the thinking behind it. I don't know.
That's definitely the thinking behind it. They just want,
Yeah,
like, a figurehead. Like, if there was a actual mannequin, they would probably be like, "No, no, this mannequin, he can do the job." It just
right. Yeah, if we could get like Kim Cattrall as the reanimated mannequin
mm,
from the 1980s movie Mannequin.
they'd be like,
Fine
"Nothing."
cinematic masterpiece, by the way.
Vote for Kim Cattrall. Nothing's
Yeah,
gonna stop us now.
yeah, exactly. See, she's got a campaign slogan ready made.
Absolutely.
But anyway, okay, so yeah,
Yeah,
the week cold open.
yeah.
I just find it depressing because it's just reminding me of like, and the really sad thing is, it's still close. It's
What is our world now?
I don't know. I don't know, Darren. Man, I
Oh,
don't. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, okay, so we have our host for the week, Keke Palmer. She comes out. She does a monologue. This'll make us feel better, right?
yay! It will. It will. She comes out a ball of energy, just
Mm-hmm.
a lovable, just affable, just presence she has, and
Very animated. She's very animated. She's wearing like this big brown overcoat. She comes out. She's talking about how it's Sagittarius season. She's really into astrology, and I'm like, okay. Uh,
yeah, just a big lovable ball of positive energy. It's just coming out, talking about Sagittarius season, talking
hmm
about how she was in the movie Keela and the Bee back when she was like around 12 or so.
hmm
Talking about like an interaction she had with Lawrence Fishburne.
Yes.
Talking about being in the movie Nope.
Yep.
Talking about Aziz Ansari giving her advice.
I
Uh,
guess because she just had an Aziz Ansari impression in her pocket, and she just wanted to talk
yeah,
about that.
yeah, exactly. It wasn't the strongest. Yeah, that kind of did come out of nowhere because I was like,
This is one of those monologues where it's like, okay, we're going to mention these 3 4 things. They don't really have anything to do with each other than all being related to the host. Um, but I guess we kind of learned that she's going somewhere. She comes out. She came out wearing like this big brown overcoat, and then she says, "Oh, there've been a lot of rumors going around about me. I want to set the record straight." And apparently, like there've been a lot of rumors that she's pregnant. So she like opens up her coat and reveals her belly, and she's like, "Yep, I'm pregnant." So
yay!
yay! I didn't know that was a rumor, but yay, she's having her first child. So congratulations to Keke Palmer.
Yeah, I didn't
Um,
even know. I didn't even hear those rumors either. But like, I'm not on, the young people's TikToks or whatever like that. But like,
no, yeah, but I guess this was a big thing. A lot of people were theorizing about this and wondering if she was, and I'm sure they were noticing clues and analyzing it like it's the Zapruder film.
yeah,
Uh, and
yeah,
I did a little research. Actually, Cardi B also revealed her pregnancy when she was on SNL back in 2018. So,
yes, I remember that was the Chadwick Boseman hosted episode. I do remember that.
yes, which yeah, was just before we started doing this podcast, but we actually did go back and cover that episode after Chadwick Boseman passed away. So
Mm,
you can go back and listen to our thoughts on that a year or two after the fact.
right, and yeah, I think I went online to check, and like it seemed like a lot of people were asking, "Oh, is this the first time a host announced their pregnancy on the show, or
hmm
the first time we had a pregnant person host the show? And I don't believe so, because I believe from what I saw, it looks like Tina Fey might have been the first one to do it, because she was like,
She was pregnant on like the Mother's Day show. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, with her second child at
Yes.
the time. And thanks
Yeah.
to Minette Morati, who like put out on Twitter the opening monologue from that, where like it was her that was pregnant. She was singing a song about her child, and then Maya Rudolph came out, who was also pregnant, and joined
Woohoo.
her in song.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I remember that Anna Gasteyer was pregnant when she was a cast member, and she talked about that in the Live from New York oral history book, where she was saying like, "Oh yeah, they've been great. Like, I mean, sometimes I'm pregnant in the sketches, and sometimes I'm not. It just either way." And
Yeah.
she was like, "I'm getting all sorts of adorable questions from like the young cast members who are like, 'What's having a baby like?'" But so
The cast members sound like Muppets. Okay,
yes, well, I mean,
yeah,
yeah, Jimmy Fallon in the late '90s, yeah,
I could see that. Oh, it's
yeah.
great. Hey, oh, it's totally awesome. It's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. I mean, yeah, Jimmy Fallon is basically Scooter, right?
He really is. Hey, that's
Yeah,
great. Oh, wow, that's totally awesome. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
Anyway, so what do we think of the monologue overall?
Not bad. There was like tons of energy, tons of
Hmm.
fun, very light. It basically set the tone for most of the show, I thought.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought it was like, very upbeat, very positive. The audience was hot. Like the audience was loving like you could tell, like it seemed like the audience was full of her fans that were
yeah,
like
yeah.
just cheering on, just cheering her on and cheering on everything she did throughout this
Well,
whole show.
that's the way it seems to work whenever it's somebody who has a significant following, particularly social media following, which I'm sure Keke Palmer does. They all seem to like rally and they go out and they wait in the standby line to see the show. So yeah, so I'm sure the house was filled with Keke Palmer fans, and
Right. No.
they
Yeah.
were very happy, and yeah, they were really thrilled that she confirmed her pregnancy. So
Yeah. So off to a good start. Big positive start.
mhm.
It's this big positive start for this show.
All right, so moving on to our first sketch, this was Forsington's Ridge, just sort of an '80s soap opera type of thing with Cecily Strong. She's basically like Joan Collins in Dynasty. It felt like
Yes. Big strong dynasty Falcons crest.
a lot of '80s big hair. Um, we got Bowen Yang. He's got an ascot. He's got like silver hair, and he's like the dude that the ladies are fighting over. Keke Palmer comes in as the other lady. Cecily at one point just goes, "I need to adjust my breasts in the mirror."
It's a funny line.
Funny line, funny line, and then Cecily's character gets into a fight with Keke Palmer's character, and then they're replaced by super obvious stunt women who are like
Yes.
literally wearing knee pads to protect themselves as they're rolling around on the floor.
Yes. Knee pads and sneakers,
Yeah,
and it's just very obvious it's not them. And
right.
like it's kind of like when they cut to close-ups of them, it's pretty
Yeah,
choppy. This is a very campy sketch. I'll say that.
yeah. It's very campy. I mean, yeah, the super obvious insert shots of the close-ups, and it's like Cecily's Keke Palmer's like miming hitting her, and then they intercut it with these shots of the stunt women who look nothing like them. I guess it's sort of a joke on how, like, if you watch like these '80s shows that are now in HD or something, you can see stuff you were never intended to see, like stuff that could pass on old broadcast standard television just doesn't work in the age of HD.
Yeah, very very true. Very true. You
Yeah,
can
I mean, I was a while back. I was watching an episode of the original Quantum Leap on, I think it was on Peacock, and they had an episode where um, Sam he Sam Beckett wakes up on the beach, and there's a supposed to be a nude woman walking towards him, and it's shot from a distance, and it's kind of hazy, so you just see like sort of a nude silhouette, and in the close up it had been like remastered or reframed or something. You could totally see that she was like just wearing flesh colored pasties, and it just
yeah.
kind of spoiled the entire illusion. And I was like, oh well, okay.
Okay.
HD's not the best for older shows, you know.
Yeah, no, HD TV definitely shatters the illusions of a lot
Mhm.
of things. Oh boy.
So I mean, I don't know. I watched this. I kind of felt like, okay, was Cecily just like watching old clips of Dynasty on YouTube or something?
I think that's it. Yeah.
I feel like there's some viral video I missed out on of like Joan Collins and Linda Evans having a cat fight on Dynasty, and then you can see super obvious stunt women in it.
I think so, but I mean, I think even if you don't get the reference, you can kind of understand what they were going for. Like, all right, this is,
Yeah,
over the top soap opera. How dare you sleep with my husband?
yeah, yeah.
Like cheesy, campy type of vibes, and
Hmm.
then they get into big physical fist fights. I think at one point, Cecily's character actually throws Kiki's character onto a table and breaks it. And yeah, it's just like kind of
Yeah,
cheeky, campy type of humor that you don't take seriously.
yeah. I found it more weird than funny though.
I could see that. Yeah,
It didn't really send me. I was like, okay, well, I mean, it's cute, but it wasn't like, oh my god, that's so funny and clever and ha 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 ha.
yeah,
So
I hear you. It's a little odd. It's it's just silly fun. This one, like it's funny when Bowen comes in and sees them fighting. It's like, oh, who are you? What are you fighting over? I certainly hope this fight isn't over who's filleting me. Like
yeah, yeah. I mean, some funny lines scattered in. Just I was like, okay.
okay, all right, but yeah, so far it's a good way to start the show. I thought. Forsington's Ridge.
Hmm.
Uh,
Next, we have a pre-tape called Big Boys. This
mm.
is Keke, Cecily, and Ego. They start out, they're singing about cuffing season, which is where you you snag onto a significant other during the holiday season, and then you're basically in a relationship with that person through at least Valentine's Day. I think that's the concept of cuffing season, right?
Yeah, I guess to avoid loneliness and holiday depression or whatever, you just
Well, I think that, yeah, I think the idea is, yeah, you want that holiday fling, and also like that other person isn't going to dump you around one of the holidays, because then that reflects badly on them. Like they're a bad person if they dump you like right before Christmas or right before Valentine's Day, or
right,
yeah,
absolutely.
it's
But yeah,
it's awkward because there's always a new holiday coming around the corner.
yeah. So just folks out there, grab your it's cuffing season, so grab your loved one before they fly off the shelves and there's no one
Yep.
around.
Yeah.
And but yeah, with this one, the twist is that they want larger, heavy set men, big boys. So
They want
because
physically large men to cuddle up with because they're good to cuddle with.
yes, we generate a lot of heat, had a lot
Hmm.
of body warmth. So
Yeah.
you want to snuggle up to us because for warmth,
Yeah.
like a tauntaun or something.
Without the slicing them open and climbing inside them.
Yeah, yeah, don't do
That's
that.
something a serial killer would do.
that's that's yeah, that's don't do that, please.
You don't do that with your significant other. That's, I mean, that would be cuffing season in another sense of the term. Yeah, you
Right.
would.
Yeah, so it's just them about showing their love for larger men. I think at one point they show like a poster of Chris Pratt when he's in when he has a six pack and these Guardians of the Galaxy shape, and they
Hmm.
put over that poster a poster of Chris Pratt when he's all chubby and dumpy in a Parks and Recreation shape,
Yes, yes.
showing how they want the big boys. And I do like how singing this song they have Keke, they have Ego, they have Cecily, and they have Punky. And then at
Hmm.
one point they're like, Punky, I thought you like girls. What are you doing here to talk? Because I did have that thought in my mind where it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh, I thought Punky likes ladies. And then
yeah.
we
And
get into,
they outright ask her, and she's like, "I love girls, but they can't keep me warm, and I like to be the little spoon sometimes."
yeah, it's like, oh, okay.
Which, yeah, that was cute. It kind of reminded me of when another musical number they did when they did the uh, when all the ladies of SNL, they were talking about their childhood crushes, and
Oh, yeah.
and Kate McKinnon, she was like, "Oh yeah, and when I looked at this person, that was when I realized I was gay as hell." I mean, it's cool when, like, because they know the audience knows enough about the cast to know, which way their preferences go. So
Exactly.
yeah, so it's cool that they address it.
Right. But yeah, overall, this isn't a long pre-tape. It's nice and short. It
Mhm.
gets out. I thought it was okay enough.
It was okay enough. I like the moment where Devin is playing like Ego's significant other, and she's like, wait, he just stopped snoring in the middle of the night. Did he just die?
Yeah, you got to be
Because
careful.
because he's so heavy, he's got sleep apnea.
Yeah, we big boys, we got to be careful. It's
Yeah, yeah, get that CPAP machine, people.
see Pep.
Um,
All right, but
yeah,
yeah, not a bad sketch. Though it's okay.
yeah, it was cute enough.
Cute
Cute enough.
enough.
Did blow me away? Didn't? Yeah. So I'm fair to middling on the show overall at this point.
Yeah. Next up, we got Drake PSA.
Drake PSA. The premise of this is that Drake's exes have unionized as the United Kings of Aubrey, but it's more than just his actual exes. It's women he's just had random encounters with.
Yeah, Drake has a tendency to rap about maybe women who have wronged him, or he feels they have wronged him.
Uh
Like
huh.
they see that seems to be like a running through line throughout his things. He came out with an album recently with 21 Savage called Her Loss, and it just seems like a bit. I mean, I don't want to say like Taylor Swiftish, like how Taylor Swift always sings about her exes, but
Right.
Drake does tend to have a tendency to do that with
Does he
women.
name names in his songs?
I don't believe so. I don't listen to too much Drake anymore, but yeah, I don't
Okay.
believe he puts out their government like that.
Right. Okay.
Um,
Well, I mean, because we have Ego's character. She's saying like, I just left him a voicemail about an overdue car payment, and now I'm in one of his songs. Uh, and Keke Palmer, she says, yeah, Drake's song "Kiki, Do You Love Me" ruined my life because everybody asked me if that's about me.
right, and because Keke Palmer plays herself in this sketch.
Yes. So I basically I just didn't have enough info or knowledge going into to get into this at all because I don't know anything about Drake's dating life. I don't know much about his music. So I was just like, okay, this just isn't for me.
Yeah, I think you need to know a little bit
Yeah.
more about Drake and like how he has that tendency to talk about exes in his songs to really get the sketch.
Yeah.
But even if you have that, I thought the sketch went on a little too long for
Uh-huh.
me. Like it's like once I got the premise and I got the point, I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. But then it just kind of goes on a little too long, like especially when they're mentioning all the restaurants he was at and then all the other women, and
Yeah.
then it kind of ends with them singing 525,600 shouties.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, all
Parodying a
right,
song from Rent. I mean, I like that we had all the women gathered together. I mean, that's just kind of a funny visual that they've all been wronged by Drake in some way. But I just had to kind of pick up what the sketch was about from context clues. So I was, yeah,
yeah,
it didn't really work for me just because I didn't have that foreknowledge going in.
yeah. Like I think this is one of those sketches where you kind of need to know a little
Yeah,
about Drake and how he operates in order to
yeah,
get it. But
yeah. I
even
think
after,
I'm sure if you have that knowledge, it hits hard. It's like if you're a Drake fan, this probably hit the way the Weezer sketch did for Darren and me a few years back. So
woo
yeah,
absolutely. Oh, that thing hit.
yeah. I mean, why don't you grow up and listen to Attitude? Come on.
Why did you? I should put that in like in my outgoing messages.
You really should.
Why don't you grow up and listen to Gratitude? But yeah, overall, I thought the sketch was okay, but I think it would have hit a little bit harder if it was a little bit shorter. But that's just me.
Yeah, yeah. I just looked at this and I was like, okay, well, this one isn't for me,
Okay.
and that's fine. Not, I'm not narcissistic enough to expect that everything on SNL should be oriented towards me. So
Yes,
that's fine. If you're a Drake fan and you love this sketch, hey, great, I'm happy for you.
that's right.
Um,
Uh,
next, we have Hello Kitty.
Hello
Uh,
Kitty.
this was employee training at the official Hello Kitty store, and Kiki and Bowen are losing their shit over the logical inconsistencies in Hello Kitty's backstory, which I was not aware of any of this.
Uh,
Um,
yeah. So this takes place in the Hello Kitty store in Times Square, and
yeah,
it's I think we have Molly and Cecily as the managers talking to the new employees about the history of Hello Kitty, and how Hello Kitty is actually a human little girl,
not a
which
kitty, but a human little girl. Yes,
which makes no sense to me. Like this is the
and
first I'm hearing about this.
Hello Kitty was born in like 1978 or 1974, but but she's in third or fourth grade, and they're like, "So Hello Kitty is a 48-year-old woman who is in third or fourth grade." I liked how it was just them losing their shit over the logical inconsistencies in the Hello Kitty backstory, which none of which I was aware of, but the sketch brought me up to speed.
Right,
And
because like also the new employees is also Marcelo and Sarah, and Sarah had a good
yeah,
line that I liked where, Keke and Bowen were upset about this, and Sarah was like, "Yeah, I really don't care about this job. It just seems like a insane place to get high."
yes, yes, because it's a very a lot of neon pinks and stuff. It's very very cutesy, very girly. And then towards the end of the sketch, we have someone come out in a Hello Kitty costume, and then it, the Hello Kitty unmasks, and that's Natasha Lyonne under there, and it's like it's an episode of The Masked Singer or something.
Yeah, it's a this one takes a interesting turn because like as uh Bowen and Kiki get more and more upset about, this is, it's outrageous that we're supposed to think that this is a little girl, even though her boyfriend is a cat, which makes no sense. So she's out here clapping cheeks with a cat, no Jimmy.
Hmm.
And I think at one point they say her height and they measure her height in apples, so she's like 5 apples tall or something. And then they say,
I
"Hey,
thought we only messaged Smurfs in apples.
yeah,
Is
that's what I thought too."
Yeah, that seems ripped off from the Smurfs.
Right, and then but then so I think at one point Kiki says like, "Look, I know you measure your Hello Kitty in apples, but here there's only one apple that matters, and that's the Big Apple, New York City, the greatest city in the world." And then we have all the other cast members come out as, New York City firefighter, New York City cop,
Yeah,
and then we
yeah,
have this
that was kind of weird and random. Yeah, all right, yeah,
Yeah, and then we have Dismukes dressed as Spider-Man saying that one line from the Spider-Man movie, "If you mess with one New Yorker, you mess with all of us."
yes, I thought that was very cute. If you're a fan of the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire, yeah, uh, yeah, there's that kind of weirdish moment at the end where it's like it was filmed like right after 9/11,
Yeah.
where where all the New Yorkers are pelting the Green Goblin with cans or garbage or whatever. And yeah, one of them is going, "You mess with one of us, you mess with all."
Yeah. New York
And
City.
even in 2002, that was a little weird.
It was. I get it. Like, yeah, New York is the second, the other character in all these movies, but it
Yeah,
did seem a little like.
I thought you were going to say the second greatest city on earth.
That's why I moved out.
That's why I left Brooklyn. I left for a reason.
But yeah, even back then when I saw that Sam Raimi movie, the Spider-Man, I was like,
Yeah,
this feels a little like forced.
yeah. It,
Like
it was. It was. It 100% was.
I was
But
like, I'll go with it,
I
but
was momentarily amused because Andrew said that line with the exact same delivery and cadence of the guy in the movie. So I was just like, okay, somebody's a fan of the Raimi Spider.
yeah, I was like, I'll go with it, but
Yeah.
hmm, I don't know.
Oh, by the way, we usually try to give writing credits for these sketches where we could. Haven't found too many writing credits for this episode yet.
Yeah, that's weird that they
Went
haven't.
over on Reddit. Hardly any of the sketches are credited. So
Yeah, but I mean, overall, the sketch is again, it's keeping on with this sort of theme throughout the entire show. This like loose, kind
mhm.
of silly, fun, nonsensical type of vibe. I thought the sketch was all
Yeah,
right. I thought it was
I
pleasant enough.
it just got so random at the. I was just like, oh, well, Natasha Lyonne is there. I guess the people at SNL now really hit it off with Natasha Lyonne. I guess she's very well liked at 8H. So
Yeah, I know. That's actually something. I mean, as we get closer to the Christmas episodes, that's probably something we're going to be seeing a lot of in the next two SNL episodes. Like just like cameo appearances. Like that's always
yeah.
a big thing around the holidays.
That's true, and COVID's not as much of a concern as it once was. I'm sure they're still testing and all that, but we don't really see people masked up at good nights anymore. So
Yeah, like I think.
yeah, so we probably are going to see a lot more random gratuitous celebrity cameos,
Yeah,
which
it's coming. It's
knowing
coming.
SNL, they're going to go to excess and
It's coming. Batten down
yeah,
the hatches, people. It's coming.
it's coming. I'm stealing myself for that. And speaking for random celebrity cameos, we got our next sketch, Keenan and Kelly,
Yeah, Keenan and
which
another pre-tape.
another pre-tape. It's yeah, and it's like sort of half sketch, half documentary, mockumentary thing of Keke Palmer is basically shanghaied Keenan into doing a revival or of Keenan and Kel.
Right, but with her and it
Right.
in the Kel role, so it's Keenan and Kelly.
And Kiki is having these random dramatic moments to try and win an Emmy. Like she's like, "I'm pregnant." um,
And yeah,
and then we towards the end we have a Kel Mitchell cameo.
yeah, and I mean I did like this sketch, but I'm fully aware that this sketch is pretty much only for kids who grew up in the '90s watching
Right.
Keenan and Kel because this sketch it's heavily bathed in nostalgia. Like this is
Yes.
specifically for people who grew up with Keenan and Kel because there was a lot of references to Keenan and Kel that you would only get if you were like a huge fan of that show back
Right.
in the
And
'90s.
I did not watch Keenan and Kel back in the day. I'm aware of its existence. I remember seeing the commercials for Good Burger, but I was in my 20s, so I'm not going to go see Good Burger.
Yeah,
I remember welcome to Good Burger. Can I take your order? Because those ads were omnipresent. But yeah.
yeah.
So,
I,
I mean, if you just showed me a picture of Kel Mitchell cold, I would not recognize that dude.
yeah, see, like I recognize Cal Mitchell just because I mean I'm a little
Yeah.
younger, but like not that much younger. I never watched Keenan and
Right.
Kel either, but understand. I know it was a big deal when it came out. I think it might have been a
Right.
spinoff of All That, which was
I think it was. Yes. Yeah.
yeah, and like I know it was a Keenan and Kel was sort of a big deal. They were kind of
And they were like teenagers when they were doing it. It was like a teenage sketch comedy show, right?
yeah, they were super young, but like everybody liked it. They have good chemistry. And this I thought this was a very interesting sketch where they kind of referencing a cast member's like former work in the past. Like I know
Yeah.
they did that in the Chappelle episode when they talked about how Mikey Day was on Wildin' Out. So like the fact that they're
Uh-huh.
bringing back Keenan and reminding everyone that he used to be on Keenan and Kel, that was interesting.
I mean, I'm just kind of surprised that the show never went there before this.
Mm.
I can't remember them making many references to Keenan and Kel before this, and maybe that's just because Keenan didn't feel cool. Maybe I'm sure when he first got on the show 200 years ago, he was trying to distance himself from Keenan and
Back
Kel.
right when he was on back in 1978,
Yeah, I
he
mean back in the Paleozoic era when Keenan, like when that first fish crawled out onto the beach, evolved into a man, and then
yes,
Keenan Thompson was there in his 12th season on SNL.
that's right, putting
Um,
in work.
yeah, he was like, "Hey, I don't want to make Keenan and Kel jokes. I know it's an easy thing, but yeah, I'm trying to be an accepted adult. So it's cool that he's comfortable enough to go back and reference his past in a humorous way. It just didn't speak to me at all because I'm just not a Keenan and Kel guy.
Yeah, like I noticed there was like a lot of things in there that were from the show, like Kel's love of orange soda was in it, which again, it's a
Yeah,
very specific thing you wouldn't
I was
get.
like, okay, I guess that's a thing that Kel did or was known for.
Yeah,
Okay,
no, it is like it's again exactly. It's like something where people are like us are like, all right, that's a thing, I guess. But like I saw online, like people who grew up, youngins who grew up in the '90s are like, oh my god, he did the orange soda thing. Oh my god, my childhood. Like they
yeah,
love it,
yeah,
but to us, it's
yeah.
just like a shoulder shrug.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, all right. Well, hey, it's nice that they're enjoying that, and you get to see James Austin Johnson come in as a robber who shoots Kel, and Kel bleeds out. So I like that it had the dark ending.
Yeah,
I
that
thought
was weird. And Kiki Palmer's like, "Oh, I'm pregnant with Kel's child,"
you're
and then
right.
she says her catchphrase, "Uh-oh, here comes the bus," which
Yeah,
makes no sense.
it's a lot to pack into one sketch.
It is, and
It's
like
a lot,
again, it's something that's not going to hit unless you're a huge fan of Keenan and Kel.
which I'm not. So it didn't.
Right.
But
So overall, I thought it was fine. I thought it was okay.
yeah, yeah, the most I could rate this sketch is fine. Yeah,
Right.
but
Uh,
I also recognize I'm not the target by any means.
right.
Um, so okay,
Yes.
so next we have Arby's. This was a just kind of riffing on the Arby's commercials, and apparently the current Arby's campaign is 5 roast beef sandwiches for $10, and it's just lots of different couples, and they're all questioning the logic of the deal. Uh,
Yeah. I don't know about this sketch. If I have thoughts. Like it felt a little too long. This sketch,
yeah,
even though it's not that long a sketch, but it felt this sketch. You know what it was? This sketch felt like there was a lot of build up, a lot of setup, and I was kept
uh-huh.
on waiting for like the punchline or the twist, and it
Yeah,
never.
you want more of a turn.
Yeah, it never really came. It
This was one where it's just literally people being incredulous and questioning the logic of a thing. And if you're not on board with that, it's not going to work for you. I mean, it's just
yeah.
Mickey Day going, "Where are you getting all this roast beef? How can you afford to do this?" And then the announcer shifts to the Taco Bell $5 box deal, which is also like a real promotion that's going on now, apparently. Um, I thought Keenan did a really nice job in the voiceover.
Yes, Ving Rhames.
Is that really Ving Rhames in
Ving
the Arby's commercials?
That is Ving Rhames in the Arby's commercials.
I
Yes,
had no idea, but he comes out as Ving Rhames in the sketch, and I'm like, okay, I guess that's really Ving Rhames. All right,
it is.
okay, I'm learning so many things. And this if I don't know if this was the funniest episode of SNL, but it was probably the most educational for me in quite some time. So
It makes you
I
think.
learned a few things.
SNL's out here teaching.
They're teaching.
But yeah, like
um,
they like you said, they get into the $5 box at Taco Bell. Then they
right.
mention the 4 for $4 deal that Wendy's used to have. It's
Yeah.
basically kind of them riffing on all these deals that all these fast food chains have, where it's like literally all this food for $5, and like, well,
Yeah.
how is that possible? Because
Right.
it costs money to make food, and you seem to be
Yeah.
skip
I
like
couldn't make 5 roast beef sandwiches for less than $30. How are you doing it for 10? and,
yeah. I mean,
and does anyone need that many roast beef sandwiches? I don't.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're basically dancing around the fact that the food is, probably low quality, or it's not even real meat. And
Yeah, I think they couldn't make those allegations because that's probably going to open them up to a lawsuit or something.
exactly, like they were dancing
Yeah,
around it. They were like, "How can we make fun of Arby's but not be
yeah,
sued for libel?" Like,
yeah. But yeah, the rumor of these restaurants is that they use very low quality ingredients, like
yeah,
it's like grade D or E or F, or I don't know what the grades of meat are, but
but yeah,
whatever the low grade meat is, that's what they're using.
yeah. But I mean, it's something that's been around for a while. Hell, I remember back in college surviving on $5 footlongs from Subway. I
Hmm.
I knew
Hmm.
those. I knew that those weren't real meat or real bread. I knew it was pretty much yoga mats or whatever the fuck I was eating. But hey,
Yeah, supposedly. Yeah,
I had $5 and I was hungry.
yeah, yeah,
When
yeah,
but yeah, so it's not anything new. But like with
yeah,
this sketch, it just seemed like a lot of setup, and then like you said, like a lot of incredulous. How is it possible that we can eat all this food for five
yeah,
dollars? And
yeah.
there was no real
I don't,
punchline.
I don't know if there was a reason to have like multiple couples in there other than just to get more faces on the screen. We could have probably could have just done this with like one couple
Yeah.
and just had a back and forth between the two of them. Um, it was cute. One, I noticed towards the end of the sketch there was a boom mic on the screen very briefly.
Mm,
That I always find that notable, just because the technical people at SNL are so good, you hardly ever get any sort of on-air screw-ups like that. And
right.
yeah, so seeing the boom mic, and also I had a note: Cecily slaps Bowen at the end. I don't remember the context of that, but
Oh,
I was amused by that.
because I think at that point that's where Keenan comes out on stage as Ving
Hmm.
Rhames doing the voiceover, and like
Right,
she basically haggling with them. It's like, what would you pay for all this meat? And she's like,
right,
I don't know, like uh, $15 for 3 sandwiches. And
yeah,
then I think Bone's like, why would you eat 3 sandwiches? And then she slaps
yeah, and
him
then
and
she
says,
just slaps him. Yeah,
like, don't embarrass me during my Arby's commercial.
Yes, yeah, okay, that was it. That was funny. I liked that.
Right.
I like the implication. It's not stated outright, but yeah, this is like the big break for Cecily's characters being in this Arby's commercial. I That was just a nice bizarre touch. This, I don't know. This might have been sketch of the night for me. I'm I'm kind of going back and forth between this and the Hello Kitty. I don't 100% love either one, but
I
yeah, I think
yeah,
I liked them both though.
it's definitely interesting. I feel like it went on a little too long. Like once they, I think
I can see that.
at some point they felt like they were kind of repeating themselves about how is this possible. But like I
Yeah,
feel like if they shortened it up and tightened it up a little bit more, I really think this would have been a
yeah.
funny
If
sketch.
it was like a 3.5 minute sketch instead of a 4.5 minute sketch, and it was just maybe one couple, so it could be a little more rapid fire back and forth, that might have helped. But
Right.
hey, look, an okay sketch is still better than a horrible sketch, right?
Here, here. Still,
Right,
still beats Gen Z Hospital.
right.
Yeah. Let's,
I'm not even going to pretend I remember that anymore.
you see, it's out of your mind. You're the lucky one. It still lingers in the back, in the recesses of my brain. That
When
one.
we finish talking about an episode, my mind just it drags all the sketches I didn't like to the trash. You know, I will remember the sketches I liked and I saved the ones I really like to a playlist on YouTube so I can remember when we do our best of the
Ooh.
season at the end of the year.
Oh
And
shit, we
but
got to
other
do
than
that.
that, I'm not gonna fucking remember.
Oh shit, I forgot about our. I should start planning our best of the year. Shit, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, we're 7 episodes in, my friend. Yeah.
Oh boy. All right.
I mean, I'm not saying that playlist is real long yet, but there are a few things on there.
All right. Yeah. So next up, musical guest SZA, Jersey's own SZA.
SZA. She did two numbers as SNL musical guests are wont to do. She did the song "Shirt," and then she did the song "Blind."
Yeah, and
So,
yeah, not bad. I thought
mhm.
some nice mellow R&B tunes.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, impressive production values. She's got like the LCD screen behind her. She's got like the backup dancers, and I mean, it's really impressive what they do technically with the musical guest now because it is like a full blown production.
Yeah, yeah. She has like background dancers doing some interpretive dancing. It's like a weird waterfall effect. She has it looks like kind of like waterfall, but also stars at the same
Hmm.
time, like starbursts. It's like it was pretty
Yeah.
interesting.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think she's a talented singer, and it was very nice, very pleasant. I also liked how she promoted her upcoming album at the end of her first performance.
Hmm.
I thought that was cool. Like basically when she finished her song, the starburst behind her read SOS 12/9, her second album.
Oh, and that's the release date of the album. Okay.
Right, right. Her new album's called SOS and it comes out December 9th. So I was like, oh, that's a nice little advertising there. I dig that.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I don't have too many notes on it. I was just like, oh, this is
Yeah, I was just like, all right, this was all right. Didn't love it, didn't hate it, didn't blow me away. It was fine.
nice.
Yeah,
I thought it was good. Nice, nice and pleasant.
nice and pleasant. All right, next weekend update with let's see, the hosts of Weekend Update, Colin Jost and Michael
Che?
Che. Hmm.
Che.
All right. So
Jokes.
the
Jokes.
Weekend Update is want to do. They're talking about news stories of the week. They're talking about Alex Jones and Kanye West.
Yeah, apparently Kanye West has said some crazy things that are
He
oh boy.
expressed a like of Hitler. Like,
Yeah.
how do you satirize this?
I
How do you parody this shit?
we are beyond parody at this point.
We really are. I like the line that he's the Omicron variant of Kanye. I thought that was a good line.
Yes, I
Um,
thought that was good. Like he's basically immune to his own meds at this point.
yeah, yeah. I was like, okay, yeah, that's a good way to put. Um,
I mean,
yeah.
I like Che's joke about Jerry Jones, who was catching a lot of flack. Jerry
Uh huh.
Jones is the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, and a picture surfaced of him back in 1957, where he was in a crowd of white students trying to keep black students out of a certain school.
Okay, yeah, that seems bad. That's you described that to me just now. I'm gonna take a stand and say that sounds bad.
You would think that would be the stand that everybody takes, but not so much because the world is garbage.
Yeah.
And Che had the joke. All right, yes, that does look bad. He might have been racist back then, but answer me this: would somebody who's racist go on to own a team full of the strongest black men to work on his field?
Yeah, that is a great joke. That's so clever.
It's a
And
great
I
joke.
mean, it just plays off, like two uses of the word field, and
Mm,
yeah, I mean, and that's a terrific joke. That's a A
yeah.
plus joke, man.
Yeah, Che had another great joke about the 40th anniversary of Michael Jackson's Thriller, and then
Hmm.
he said, say what you will about Michael Jackson, but his music has had a huge effect on a lot of people's childhoods.
Yes.
Oh,
it's I don't think he was saying his music. I think he said Michael Jackson had a huge effect.
oh, right. What I said, I screwed it up.
Yeah,
Messed up
yeah.
the joke.
Messed up the Che joke.
Damn it! I apologize.
Another nice line that Che had. He was talking about the Georgia Senate runoff, and he was saying, "Yeah, Herschel Walker advises us to take care of voting early before it becomes a problem." Which good stuff, good stuff. Because yeah, Herschel
Solid
Walker,
line.
he's running as an anti-abortion candidate, and it's come out that he's had forced a lot of women to have abortions. Apparently,
Right, but
allegedly. I guess I should say allegedly too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do as I
So I don't
say,
know.
don't do. Herschel Walker, do as I say, don't do as I do.
Yeah, well, it's just nuts that that sort of hypocrisy is not enough to sink a political campaign anymore.
I think we're at this point where people just vote for whoever's running on their team because it's more
Yeah,
important. It's
yeah,
more important that their team win rather than they've put somebody in office who is capable and can do the job and would it cares about the betterment of the country or the city or state that
right.
they're in. Like,
Well, and yeah, it's just so weird because it used to be like when stuff like that would come out, that would be enough for them to be like, "Oh, I resign, I drop out of the race." Like a Gary Hart who, when his affair was exposed, when John Edwards, when his affair was exposed. I'm sure there are other people, but those are the two examples that are on the top of my head. But yeah, it used to be like, "Oh, hey, you did this heinous thing," and the politician would be like, "Oh, yes, you're right. I will go away now."
right. That's how it
And yeah, that's heinous, but that makes a certain degree of sense.
Yeah, no, that's how it used to be, but now it's like, no,
Yeah,
we want our team to win. We want our team to beat the other team. So
yeah,
just close your eyes, hold your nose, vote for our team, and we
yeah.
will win. That's
Just
the end.
yeah.
You know, regardless of whether we put in laws into action that will actually help you or not, that doesn't matter. Like what matters is that our team, our side is the winning side. And it's just ugh.
Freaky.
I do not like. No me gusta.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know, and I don't know if we'll get back to that of people like putting principle over party. I'd
I
like to think we could someday, but who knows?
I don't know. I think we're too far gone at this point. I don't know if
We
there's.
probably are. We probably are.
Ugh.
We're an empire in decline, my friend.
That's right.
Um, anyway, so Michael Longfellow came out. He had a segment talking about going through the holidays as a child of divorce.
Yeah. Longfellow, his second weekend update appearance, coming out all confident as hell, just as relaxed as can be.
Yeah, yeah. I liked how he talked about how his dad is a divorce attorney who's been divorced, and he's like, so like he really endorses it.
Yeah, he talks the
He
talk.
practices what he preaches.
He talks the talk. He walks the walk.
Um, and I liked how he said he made the point that how text messages are not enough to prove infidelity in a court of law, and then Michael Che was like, "Good to know."
I like the one
that
point where
that was a very funny way to just insert the update hosts into the what's basically part of his stand-up routine.
right, yeah. He also had that other part where he talked about how he talked about his new dad, Terry, and how he's a semi nudist and he's seen him naked over like 40 times at this
Yeah,
point in his life. And then I
yeah,
think Colin Joe said something like, "Well, I just hope he has has a nice body." And
hmm
Michael and Longfellow was just like, "Why?"
yeah.
It's a
What
very
are you saying, Colin? And Colin's like, I don't even know.
that was a very. It's like, why would you say that, Colin? Even I
Because
was
I
like,
guess that's marginally more pleasant than seeing an unattractive dude.
even I was like, Colin, what the fuck is it? What?
Yeah. It was a decent way to insert them into the what was originally written as a solo stand-up routine.
Yeah, it's basically, it definitely feels like more of Longfellow's, his more of his set basically from his stand-up days. And
Yeah.
but yeah, you could definitely tell he felt comfortable saying it, so you could definitely tell it's something he's said, some jokes he said over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yes.
I thought this was good. I liked it.
Yeah, there's a comfort level of the material. I'm just like, oh well, look at him burning through his stand-up bits.
Yeah, again, another way of us getting reacclimated with the new guy and who he
Yes.
is and what he's about. I still want to see Molly do their
Do a guest segment.
do their guest segment. I'm
Yeah.
trying to say the there. So because it's like we've seen Longfellow do it twice. I think we've seen Marcello do it twice. Devin did it once, but no Molly. I really want to see that happen.
Oh,
Right?
Darren's keeping score.
That's
SNL.
right. I got a big old chalkboard. SNL.
He's running a tally.
That's right. Molly's got a big old goose egg. Let's change that.
Let's change that. Let's change that.
And next up,
Right.
we have Trish Dale, who's the
Trish
president of
Dale
the
is
Peppa Pig President Fan Club. And
yes.
apparently on Peppa Pig, which is the children's show, they're going to introduce this thing where somebody has like two same-sex parents,
A
two polar bears.
same-sex polar bear couple. Yeah, and Trish Dale is very upset about this.
Right. And yeah, so when they announced, when Michael Che was introducing Trish Dale, like my mind immediately went to, oh, this is going to be like a Heidi character um or a Chloe character, or maybe even a Cecily character. So when Sarah Sherman came out, I was like,
Whoa,
oh,
curveball.
whoa,
Sarah Sherman playing an outraged Whiteley. What?
what the? Is it backwards day?
Yeah, and she said, yeah, and Jay is like, well, yeah, this just sounds cute though, and she says, yeah, it is cute until they anally enter each other, and I would just like to note, for the record, that when I was making a note of that line on my phone, um,
Oh.
autocorrect changed anally enter each other to an ally enter each other. So
Mm.
I guess I've got a homophobic autocorrect on my phone.
Who makes your phone, John?
I
Interesting.
don't. I mean, look, iPhone. I don't want to tell you how
Yeah.
to do your business, but anally is a word. It. I was not trying to type an ally. No, I was typing anally.
Ah, interesting. I
I
think,
was typing the word anally. I should say that.
okay.
Yeah,
I
I
guess
wasn't.
your phone feels like you're too woke or something.
I don't know. I'm just like, what the fuck? Spell check. That
Yeah.
that ain't right.
Your,
That seems prejudicial. I'm just saying
yeah.
that.
Your phone is trying to instill in you Christian values. That's weird.
I um, and so yeah, so like Jay is saying like, oh well, I think they're just saying that gay people are just part of life, and then Trish Dale goes, it's not a part of life, it hurts, and then
Yeah.
she just kind of goes off about how physically difficult anal sex is.
Yeah. And she's like, I've tried everything. I've tried meditation, poppers. It still hurts. I think it's the
Yeah.
way Sarah played it, because she played this character
Hmm.
like really bug-eyed. Like I don't think she even blinks throughout this whole set.
Right.
And she put in this really high-pitched, funny, almost like a Muppet voice. She's like, "Oh
Hmm.
my God, they anally enter each
Right.
other."
And she's like this woman who's outraged, but she's not entirely sure why. She's just outraged because she knows she's supposed to be outraged.
Yeah, she does like these stiff arm movements that are pretty
The
hilarious.
way she moved her hands around on the desk was pretty genius. It was great character work by Sarah. And then and then at the end of the segment, she finds out that they're two uh, lady polar bears who are in a relationship, and then Shay kind of explains that, whispers in her ear, and she goes, "Oh, it's just mashing and mushing. I've done that." um, uh, Great turn at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, this was really good. Like, I
Hmm.
think it's good to see, Sarah kind of showing she's becoming more and more versatile. She's not just the, I guess, multicolored oddball that, scream talks her way through stuff. Like, oh no, she's doing other stuff now too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually noticed like throughout this episode, she had a lot of she was in this episode quite a bit. She was in a lot of sketches.
She's become so well integrated into the show, and much better integrated than I ever would have guessed when she started. Because
Yeah,
she seems like such an odd fit for SNL and a counterintuitive pick for the cast. But damn, she has made her niche in the cast, and she is yeah, she fits so well in the cast now. It's great.
right. Yeah, no, she's showing like she doesn't always have to be, like I said, like the loud, Harley Quinn colored, you know,
Hmm.
persona that she is. She can tone it down. She can be like this or that, and she's showing more and more, I guess, sides to her. And like
Yeah.
the audience love. I know she has like a really strong like following so far. Like like the stuff she does really resonates with people, and it's like she's slowly becoming like sort of the breakout star of SNL. I
Hmm.
see. Like she's really kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
making her stamp
It's
on
great
it.
to see. It's great to see. I just want to give a shout out to one more line that I really like. This was before the Trish Dale thing, but Cullen was talking about a story about a super cartel that was busted, and he just says, "You know what made the cartel really super? Friendship."
Oh,
Um, that made me laugh. It's just such a stupid, but yet also kind of clever joke. It made me LOL.
I
So
yeah.
well done, Colin.
It
Well delivered by Colin, and probably well written because it seems like a very Colin joke.
it's well done, Colin. Well done.
Well done. Thumbs up from me here in New Jersey, Colin.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
next up we got ultrasound.
ultrasound with Cicely as an OBGYN, Keke as an expected mother. And this is kind of similar to that baby monitor sketch that Sarah and Bowen did a while back. I don't
Yes,
know what show that was in.
that was the Selena Gomez episode.
The Selena Gomez episode. Thank you. I knew you would take up the slack for me on that.
That's what I'm here for, baby.
So that's yeah, that's so Bowen and Sarah are the twins in utero showing up in the ultrasound, and they're breakdancing, they're smoking, they're jumping rope with umbilical cords,
Yeah,
they're ordering a filet o fish sandwich with an iPhone.
yeah. I think, and Cecily was like, "They have an iPhone in there."
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, and they ordered like you said, filet of fish from Seamless. Devin Walker
Hmm.
comes in. He's like, "Oh, I got a message. I was supposed to deliver this filet of fish." And then we see like two little arms come out
Yeah,
from the blanket, like from
yeah,
in between Kiki's legs, who's up in the stirrups.
yeah.
It's like, "Oh yeah, that sandwich is for them." And I was like, "Ah, that
Yeah,
is
and they actually are paying, and Devin's like, yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to take that.
yeah, that's yeah." I was like, "Wow, okay, we're doing
Yeah,
this."
I we don't have writing credits for this. Sarah had to have a hand in writing this.
I'm
I mean,
I'd bet the farm that this is a
yeah,
Sarah joint.
I mean, it's just too weird not to be from Sarah.
Yeah, like there's a scene where the two of them are like basically pogo sticking using the two IUDs that
Yeah,
got lost in the mother's womb. At one point, like you said, they're smoking cigarettes, and
yeah,
like we see smoke come out from between Kiki Palmer's legs.
yep,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, it's a journey. It is more or less a repeat of the babies doing weird shit thing, but this is only like the second time they've done this, so
Yeah,
I'm not sick of it yet, and they spaced it out well. So
yeah,
yeah, it was weird, definitely, particularly the ending,
very
where,
strange.
where the babies have apparently moved over to Cecily's stomach.
Uh,
It's almost like a Twilight Zone ending.
Yeah, because like I think at one point they do the ultrasound and like, hey, where'd your babies go? They're not in your stomach anymore. And then
Right.
Cecily puts it over her stomach and they're in there wearing doctors' lab coats. And she's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. It's just
no.
yeah.
Very
Yeah.
odd.
I mean, if Rod Serling came out and was just like, "Oh, submitted for your approval," I mean, it would not be out of place on a Twilight Zone.
No, no, not at all.
Yeah, weird, but funny.
Yeah,
So
this kind of felt like it should have been at the 10-1, actually, now that I think about it.
it kind of should have been, but hey, kudos to you guys for getting it earlier. I mean,
Yeah.
funny's funny, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an odd sketch, but it did make me chuckle, so I can't complain too
Yeah,
much.
yeah. All right, next we have choir practice. This is a all-girls choir at a Catholic school. We got Molly and Cecily doing the solos, Ego and Sarah complaining about that, and then Keke Palmer comes in as the new student who outshines Molly and Cecily.
Yeah, it's basically them singing "Oh Holy Night,"
Mm-hmm.
and it seems like Molly and Cecily are going to get the lead, and then Keke comes in as a new student, new transfer student, and of course, basically outsings them all. Like, I mean, it's a
Yeah.
short sketch, but this sketch is basically just a way to show that Keke can sing.
Yeah,
I felt,
it's just hey, let's have her showing off her singing skills.
yeah.
Let's do that. It's you remember that sketch they did? They did this with a few musical guest host people where like Spotify was going down and then somebody had to like sing in the style of an artist.
Oh, I don't think I remember that sketch.
You remember this? They did it with a couple different people. And I can't remember who it was, but it would be like, "Oh yeah, you have to imitate Michael Jackson because this person's listening to Michael Jackson," and then they.
I don't think I remember that.
So it reminded me of that in that the sketch was basically just constructed around them showing off their singing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if I remember that. I mean, I basically thought. I mean, the basic premise of the sketch is, hey, Keke can sing. Let's just write a sketch around that. It kind of reminded me of
Hmm.
like the Lizzo sketch where they were like, "Hey, Lizzo can play the flute and twerk. Let's just write a sketch around that."
Yeah, exactly,
Or Megan Thee
exactly.
Stallion. "Hey, Megan Thee Stallion's got a big old ass and she likes to twerk. Let's
Right,
write a sketch around that."
and they're not the actual musical guests for this week. So, but still, let's showcase them somehow. Yes.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
they did have a few good lines in here. Like I like how when Cecily welcomed Keke to the school, it's like, "Hey, welcome to Christ Wound High," and
That's cute. I missed that.
yeah, and how Molly says, "Oh yeah, you gotta love it here. You know, we're all sisters, and we're all synced up, so that's cool."
Yeah, that's also cute. I liked this was just a neat wardrobe touch apropos of nothing. I like that Sarah's character, even though she's in like the standard Catholic schoolgirl uniform with the plaid skirt and the sweater, she's still wearing like weird socks and shoes. Like she still had that multicolor thing going on,
Right.
and I was like, that's it's not commented on at all in the sketch. It's just something I noticed when they cut to a long shot. But I was like, that's cool that even in this, Sarah's still kind of expressing her individuality.
Yeah, Sarah's got to be Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and basically throughout the sketch, we see like Kiki can really sing, and Bowen, is the teacher, is just blown away by her, saying, "Oh, I just got off the phone with Broadway. You're the new funny girl." And
Yeah.
I also liked how there was like a thing where like, all right, I've consulted with the gods, plural, and then Ego says,
Mhm.
"We go to what do you mean? We go to Catholic school?" And
Yeah.
Bowen's like, "Oh, grow up."
Yeah, that was cute. It's an odd sketch. It sounds like you liked it a lot more than me. You certainly took more notes on it than I did.
I mean,
But
I just there was like a few things here and there that I thought were funny, but yeah,
yeah,
overall, I thought the sketch was okay, but yeah, but like I understand it's just
I think
based.
it's more funny for the random lines that were peppered in than the meat of the sketch. You know?
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, I thought, all right, we just want to show Kiki can sing, so we'll do this sketch. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. So and final sketch of the night, 10-1, Hawaii flight.
Mm-hmm. Ego and Kiki, they're flight attendants who are logging their millionth miles, and they reveal that the plane they're on has logged 10 million miles, which that seems too high.
Yeah, it's just basically it's like so. Basically, this one is just Kiki and Ego bouncing off each other. They're giving the energy to the sketch. Them talking about how this is a really old plane. I think it's been flying since like segregation times. I think at one
Hmm.
point, Ego points out that the bathroom actually says whites only.
Yeah, yeah. She removes a cover over the sign that it says whites only,
Right.
and yeah, that was cool. That was cute. Quick sketch, not a lot. I wasn't nuts about it, but yeah, it's fine. Whatever. It's the last of the night. It got us to the end.
We got there. Yeah, like I feel the same way. Like I think the premise of the sketch was okay. There wasn't much there, but
Yeah,
Kiki and Ego's energy, I think, carried it to the finish line. Like if
yeah.
they
I
weren't
I
in it,
still it still felt like it was marking time to me, but
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fine.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, like if they weren't in it, I'd probably be more harsher with it, with my critique
Yeah.
of it. But like,
The two flight attendants talking to the passengers and the passengers being like, "Hey, this is weird." They've done that a lot.
they have.
So when I see that, I don't get especially excited. So
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
if they tabled this particular sketch format for a while, I'd be happy.
same. Again, yeah, like the premise of the sketch is pretty thin, and it's something we've seen before. But again, like
Yeah.
I'm more a fan of Ego and Kiki's energy than I am the sketch in general. I would say.
Yeah, okay, I can see. So the performance is elevated for you.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, like if
Yeah.
somebody else did this, I'd probably be like, the sketch blows, blah blah blah. But
Right.
I think Kiki and Ego were able to
I mean, they
land this
have a
plane.
nice chemistry together, and they were certainly giving it their all. So
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. And yeah, that's our episode. That's it.
that's the episode.
Overall, not a bad episode, I'd say. Like very high energy, very positive.
Yeah,
Kiki Palmer just came through with the positive vibes. You could tell the cast really enjoyed performing with her, and it was just good
yeah,
vibes overall, I thought.
yeah. I For me, it was just a real fair to Midland show at best, because there just weren't every sketch, even the ones I liked, I was just like, oh well, that was okay, or that was pretty good. I mean, there weren't any sketches where I was like, oh, that was great, oh, that was wonderful, that was one of the best things they've done all season. So
Okay. No,
yeah, I was just like, yeah, all right.
no, fair enough. I think the thing is, like basically when it comes to SNL shows, I think we both kind of really enjoy sketches, like really well written sketches, clever
Yes,
sketches, stuff
yeah.
with like really strong performances. And I think this one,
Well, and also, I like it when the sketches when they have a turn that you weren't expecting. That's when a sketch hits really hard,
yeah, absolutely.
and we didn't have much of that this week.
No, like I mean, this sketch, like I said, it mostly fed off of the vibes and the positive energy and the
Mhm.
just the big performances that everybody was giving. This episode was basically sort of like one of those comedians you see who's very animated and very like big and has like all those energy, and even though their material may not be that great, you still like what they're doing just because they're giving it their all.
I will choose a different metaphor.
Ooh, all right.
I will say that this episode, it was kind of the equivalent of the roast beef sandwiches you get at Arby's, or the $5 deal that you get at Taco Bell. You're just, you're really excited when you start out eating it, and then after you finish, you're like, oh, that wasn't too fulfilling after all. Why did I have that?
Oh,
So that's kind of the feeling that I had at the end of this one.
so you're just on the toilet right now, just evacuating a
I'm not going to extend the metaphor
oh,
further than that.
oh, you don't want to do that? Okay.
That seems unduly harsh,
Oh,
but
okay. Maybe I went there. Maybe that's oh. So I'm
yeah,
the bad guy. It's me. I'm the
yeah,
bad guy.
no, I'm classier than you are, Darren.
Oh, well, that's your first mistake.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this episode. I thought, like, as soon as I sort of got the vibe they were going for, just silly, loose,
hmm
fun, just kind of, I was able. All right, I'll go along with it, and I was able to enjoy it a little
yeah,
bit more. So, like, I think if you take
I,
it as that, you'll
yeah,
enjoy it more.
for me, I'd say Hello Kitty and Arby's were both the closest to the standouts, but even those, there's an asterisk there.
Right. Yeah,
But I would have liked to Please Don't Destroy sketch.
that would have been
I've come to really enjoy those guys and their contribution to the show.
right. Yeah. I was actually surprised we didn't get a PDD sketch, but
Yeah, when they're not on the show now, I miss them.
yeah,
So
more PDD,
yeah,
please.
yeah. I mean, hey, I'd love to see them do something with Steve Martin and Martin Short next week. That would
Yeah,
be fun.
maybe they will. I mean, that's what. Yeah.
Maybe they will. All right, but we do have a few tweets about this episode. Let's see, our friend Mikey with two E's over in merry old England says, "Hey guys, didn't know anything about Kiki going in, but man, did she do a great job. Kolobin was a miss for me. Felt like a bad '90s sitcom." Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah, that was a miss for me too. Monologue, however, was decent and gave me hope for the rest of the episode, which started slowly, but definitely seemed to get better as it went on. Weekend Update is usually the highlight for me, and this week was no exception, with the added bonus of a couple strong desk pieces. Most sketches in the back half had some solid laughs and were definitely helped by Keke being on form. Overall, a pretty good episode. So,
Okay.
yeah, I pretty much agree with that assessment. I think, yeah, Mikey, you got your finger on the pulse of
Yeah.
what the SNL nerds are thinking.
Absolutely, Mikey. Also, we got a text from Lucho Blanco. Ooh, I don't think I recognize this
Mm-hmm.
person. Hey, this is interesting.
This is a new person to me. Yes.
Yeah, Weekend Update was on fire, edgy, fun. Parentheses. They should have used some of those headlines for cold opening, which was kind of half baked. Hashtag Sarah Sherman is killing it, making her crazy offbeat comedy mainstream. Hashtag Kiki was awesome. Looks like she had a great time.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right. Well, thank you, Lucio Blanco. We hope you join us again. Tell us what you think of future episodes.
absolutely.
So, all right, and lastly, we have our friend Boardman gets paid
Mm.
at Lahat Helion. I can never remember where this. Please use capitals.
We will never say your Twitter handle
I
correctly.
never know where one word ends and the other word begins in your screen name, Boardman. I have no idea. Still, I know you've told us. I'm not going to remember. Um, Hello from the hole in Nope. Every so often, you get an episode where the host is a ball of energy and super talented. Every cast member has a speaking role, and the sketches are never longer than 5 minutes. This was that episode. 5 stars, my episode of the year. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes on in another tweet, calling it already. Clapping cheeks with a cat with no Jimmy is my new favorite quote of 22. Oh, he means 2022. Okay.
Yes.
Clapping cheeks with a cat with no
That
Jimmy.
line was when Bowen said that line, I did get a pretty big laugh out of it. I will admit.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was from the Hello Kitty
Yeah,
sketch. That's it. And I
clapping
was like,
cheeks, no Jimmy, as in no Jimmy, guys, means no Jimmy
no
hat.
Jimmy hat.
Yes,
Yeah.
prophylactics.
Yes. Yes. You're raw dogging it.
Yeah.
Okay, Boardman gets paid, goes on, and the airline sketch should have been called Frontier Airlines.
Oh,
I guess because they're a shitty airline.
I guess so. I thought
I
Spirit
I
Airlines
don't.
was the bad one, or Southwest.
Yeah, I don't get why it should have been called Frontier Airlines. Okay. Anyway, I hope y'all had a good holiday. Yeah, we both did. Thank you for asking. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on this amazing episode. Well, you've heard them now. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we've done. We've given them. So you've heard them. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, actually, I'm looking it up now. Yeah, so Frontier Airlines is a airline with a lot of, I guess, low, like the prices are pretty low. Which, like, I'm looking it
Okay.
up now. It
Yeah.
says like New York to
I
Atlanta.
think I'd heard of them before. Yeah.
Like it says New York to Atlanta round trip, $58. Which
Oh, well, hey,
that
okay.
that doesn't sound possible. How do you?
That's are you flying on the inside of the plane?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Do they just strap you to a wing? What the hell, man?
New York,
I have
New York to Miami, $62.
I fly to Atlanta a fair amount, or at least I used to in pre-pandemic days, and I don't think I've ever paid less than I mean, it's usually around 100 with fees and everything.
This
You know,
seems
100, 150 or
yeah,
something
this
at
seems
least.
yeah, this seems really fit. I don't know. This seems like a mega bus type of prices.
That sounds low enough to be very fishy and very sketchy. I mean,
Yeah,
hey, yeah, but
it
ooh,
does. So,
okay.
yeah, guys, if you know anything about Frontier Airlines, let us know. Like, what's the deal with this? Like,
Let us know because we are consumer advocates now
that's
too.
right.
Yeah,
Yes, we're the new.
let us know, and then we will be like, "Why are you messaging us about Frontier Airlines? We don't remember. We don't listen back to this.
No, no.
Yeah,
We record these and put them away. We just lock them in a vault.
yeah, we forget them forever. I mean, yeah, we have to
Mm,
write up the summaries. I'm like, what the hell did we talk about? I don't
right.
remember. We just said a bunch of shit.
Like, can't be held accountable for what I say on this microphone.
Right? No, this is just us free associating for an hour and a half.
Exactly. You get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm impressed our producer listens to this show.
So he claims.
So he claims. So he claims. He's probably going to edit this part out, but Hey, Frank.
Hi, Frank.
So anyway, next, join us next week when Saturday Night Live will be back with Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Brandy Carlisle as the musical guest.
Yes, and as always, you can follow us on Twitter at SNL Nerds Show. We're going to be, I guess we'll still be on there until the whole thing implodes.
I guess we're writing that. We're going down with the ship.
Yep.
I don't know.
That's right. We're there with the band on the Titanic, just playing our cellos as we sink into the ocean.
Yes. Yeah. And, you can follow us on our individual pages. I, for instance, am at Trumbull Comic, TRUMBULL, and the word comic.
Yeah, I'm at Darren Credible, DARIN Credible, Twitter, Instagram. I'm on Mastodon, and I'll probably be on Hive as soon as I figure out how the hell that works.
I'm on Mastodon and Hive. I haven't used either one much, but I have them set up.
Right, they're there.
I have that life raft, I guess.
Right, exactly. We have our escape pods.
Yeah. And then, like, as soon as I sign up for one, somebody's like, "Oh, you should join this other one." I'm like, "No, I don't want. I want to spend at least some time not online.
Yeah, I want to touch grass. Let me touch grass.
I want at least the option of touching grass.
Yeah,
I'm not going to necessarily go outside and actually touch grass, but it'd be nice to know that I could if I wanted to.
Right. I'd like to have that option.
Right.
It's all about choices, people.
It's all about choices. It's all about choices. And look, if you take one thing away from this week's episode, just remember, text messages are not enough to prove infidelity in a court of law.
That's right. Write it down, folks.
Write it down. That's a good tip to know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hey, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael and Michael Che, and just thank you to any Michael.
Yeah, thank any Michael.
Any random Michael.
Michael Caine, Michael Jordan. Michael.
Yes.
You know, Michael. Who else is named Michael? Michael Winslow.
I'm not ending the show until you can think of another Michael.
Michael Winslow. There you go.
There you go. Michael Winslow. You were great in the Police Academy movies.
Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop.
All right. We've reached the point of diminishing returns, so
yes.
I think it's time to end it all.
Yes. Time to land this plane.
It's time to land this plane. We'll see you next week with Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Brandy Carlisle. But until then, nerds out!
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.